Welcome back. You're tuned into Sport Federation TV. I'm Lenyukta Chetty. Joining me now in studio, we have two guests from Cape Winelands Martial Arts to tell us about developments in their specific codes in the Cape Winelands. So Haron Hoeft and Barkley. Right. So let's start off. Haron, what is your involvement in Cape Winelands Martial Arts?
I'm the president of the kickboxing, and then I still got like various positions in different martial arts in the Cape Winelands region, always helping the martial arts where they can grow and stuff like that.
So you're the committee guy.
Yeah, I'm like a committee member of most of the martial arts in the Cape Winelands area,
and probably many WhatsApp groups as well. Hey?
Yeah, there's a lot of groups where you have to say something here, say something there. But tonight we are going to focus on one martial art that don't get a lot of exposure. So it is Aikido in the Cape Winelands, and I got one of my instructors coming back from Japan, and she will talk more about.
And she is sitting right next to you.
Yes.
Karen, tell us how you got involved in martial arts.
It was in 2009. I had I wasn't very sporty. I felt I wanted to lose a little bit of weight, and I actually went to Sensei Haron's dojo to try kickboxing just for weight loss. But then I saw a class there, and that was Aikido, and I had never seen anything like it before, and I was so impressed. It was, people were flying all over the place, rolling, being thrown, and I thought, well, let me give it a go. So that was in 2009, and I was sort of doing it on and off for a while. And then at the beginning of last year, there was an incredible opportunity. We were invited to an Aikido demonstration by Ashihara Karate, and it was under sensei from Japan, and he is from Yoshinkan Aikido Ryu, and 8th Dan and chairman of Yoshinkan in Japan. So we went and spoke with him. We had a wonderful opportunity for all our students to train, and found out that they have a course that they offer in Japan. And it just caught my interest. So I've been back in South Africa for a month now, after training full-time at the Yoshinkan Aikido Ryu dojo as a full-time student. So it's been an incredible year of intensive training.
And also, was it your first time in Japan?
It was my first time in Japan.
I hear it's absolutely amazing there.
It is. It's culturally very, very different, and you know, a lot of what you experience on the Aikido floor mirrors Japanese culture, obviously because it comes from there, but it's also something that we would very much like to share with our students.
Okay, well, let's focus on Aikido. Yeah. We've had karate, we've had kickboxing, we've had judo. We're more familiar with those codes.
Yes.
Tell us how Aikido is different to those codes.
Aikido it's a martial art that uses pins, holds, and throws as a form of self-defense. You also make use of your partner's energy. So as they come at you, their movements, you deflect those movements. It's quite difficult to explain, but let me put it this way. You do not have fighting tournaments, and there is a range of what you can achieve in Aikido. For example, the Tokyo Riot Police do Yoshinkan Aikido training. It's tough. It's really, really tough. On the other hand, they start children from as young as 3. So you also have people in their 80s still doing it. So the direction you want to go with Aikido is up to you in terms of how, if you want to do it for fitness and for exercise, or if you really want to learn and to try and understand Aikido. It is very traditional in terms of a Japanese martial art. So within the dojo, we use the same behaviors as you would find in a Japanese dojo. It's used here as well. The same principles, should I say.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me personally, besides the fact that I lost 23 kilograms in my time in Japan, it's Aikido, it is life-changing in terms of, it's not just a physical activity. It's so much more than that, because of the philosophy that comes with it. The founder created this based on his martial arts skills as well as his philosophy, his life philosophy.
It was, just to backtrack a little bit, you mentioned that the police force is trained in this specific martial arts. And having lived there for a year, you certainly exposed to maybe the kind of effect having the police force use this form of, let's say, this form of martial arts to maintain control. What kind of effect does that have on their communities as opposed to the way the rest of the world is policing their nations?
Well, let me put it this way. There's almost no crime in Japan. So you know, here in South Africa, we often come across conflict in our daily lives. In Japan, not really. So what I did see was a few intense demonstrations by the Tokyo police, and that style of Aikido is a lot harsher. In other words, when they take down someone, you can see it's a really hard takedown. In Japan, and this is something that I would like to share, especially for the children, my students, the kids, the Aikido students, that in Japan there's a lot, people are very polite, they are kind, they're hardworking, there's good family values, structure. So when you talk about Tokyo Riot Police, you know, many people will not actually see that. You know, sort of in an everyday thing, because
you look like
a lot
you
of
spent
crime.
a year in an ashram because you have that kind of zen about you.
Yeah.
Am I right, Haron?
Hi.
Yeah. Well, you know, I also saw recently, I mean, there's so much to be said about the Japanese culture and the way the Asians generally do things and rear children, and sometimes they kind of like the flagship of how it should be done.
Exactly.
Like, for example, there's no cleaners in the schools. The kids must
Exactly.
clean. I love that.
Yes.
You know?
And the same thing applies in the dojo.
Right.
That, you know, after each class, the mats are all cleaned. That is the way it is done. But, you know, with Aikido, what makes it really different, and this to go back to your original question, really different from other martial arts like karate, is that there are no combative tournaments.
Right.
When you train, you know, the techniques, if properly applied, are devastating, all right? Let me just put it that way. So when you train, first of all, you need to train cooperatively so that you cannot hurt each other. You cannot just apply a technique on an unsuspecting person, because they're going to get hurt. So you start, as a beginner, you learn how to roll, how to fall, how to get out of the technique, so that the person who is training can then apply that technique authentically without injuring your partner. So that kind of collaboration, when you look at an Aikido demonstration, the first time I saw one, I thought, what's going on here? This looks like so fake. They're not fighting. But you're not fighting. You're training together. Take that same technique and apply it on somebody, or on an assailant, and you're going to do a lot of damage.
Okay.
So that's why you have to learn to train cooperatively. And there lies the other lesson in terms of
Controlling your power.
exactly, and also working cooperatively, so both for the children and for the adults. So
is it you said that you don't have combat style tournaments. How are people assessed though, and what are the different levels they can compete at, if competition is even the right word?
It's a demonstration of your techniques.
Wow.
So you do get to compete, and in fact in February next year, Yoshinkan Aikido Ryu is having their first international junior tournament. So we've been invited, and we hope to take 3 of our students over and to participate with, I think it's approximately 14 different countries. So what we offer is a chance to be directly connected with Yoshinkan Aikido Ryu in Japan. Haron Sensei, when I was there, he brought over 7 of the adult students for training for 3 weeks, and that was incredible. So you stay at the dojo, you train all day, and it's tough. It really is tough. The children, it won't be as tough. The key thing there, I help to teach some of the children's classes in Japan, specifically with the mind of learning how to do it, so that I could bring it back here. And the key thing is children must be having fun when they're doing it, and even the adults. It has to be enjoyable, and it really is. I mean, that is the thing. So when you have a group of 3-year-olds, it actually I have an interest in early childhood development, and one of the things that was really interesting for me was how certain aspects of development, motor skills and cooperation and cognitive development, were actually mirrored on the Aikido floor. So it was, there's a lot of value in it.
And it might be, I'm sure, Cape Winelands, I always say Cape Winelands excels in almost every code, not only in the Western Cape but nationally. But there's also such a need for sports like that are so holistic.
Yes.
Especially in the areas where children face trials and tribulations that other kids can't even dream of. Yeah. What do you hope to achieve there in the near future?
It's exactly as you say. There is such a stark contrast between childhood here as opposed to Japan. So simple things, and it was something that actually really saddened me when I was there, to see the kind of freedom that the children have. Children as young as 3 or 4 are walking to the park with their friends, they can play, and whereas here, with Sensei Haron's dojo, for example, some of the children are talking about when the shots were fired and so on.
Completely different realities. Hey.
Yes, it is. So within the dojo, it's a safe environment. There are strong role models. Many times there are often no strong male role models, in particular in the home, and the dojo provides that. It's not just about the physical activity. It's a more holistic approach, really.
What kind of life skills do you hope to impart on the very young ones?
A sense of cooperation, self-discipline, self-worth, how to respect yourself as well as others. Those are the sort of values.
And this is, very importantly, a form of self-defense as well.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, we have to call a spade a spade. Our kids all over this country, they need to have those skills.
Yeah. Another thing that's particularly challenging with children at the moment is bullying.
Yeah.
And Aikido, it's something that we can address. And in fact, one of our adult students is busy with a project specifically linking Aikido to an anti-bullying.
That is just wonderful to hear.
Project to take at schools.
Yeah, that's
schools.
Really wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
I hope the schools are open to all the programs that you'd like to introduce.
We already started with one school.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Haron, how does Cape Winelands martial arts feel about let's say the introduction of this very special discipline now?
With all this martial arts people that I'm involved with, they said it is a great thing because in most of the schools they do have the karate. But I told them no, but I will start now with Aikido in the schools, and we already got 2 schools One is already starting, Ebenezer Primary. We already start with them. So the next one I'm going to is Parelzig, and then I will start trying the high schools. Because the martial arts especially is, you can do a lot of things, a lot of wonders, especially to children.
I must just add that Sensei Haron says about starting, so it's that, it's the first time that we're really focusing on children after seeing that in Japan. But in actual fact, Haron Sensei was very fortunate nearly 30 years ago to spend 2 years training full-time Aikido in Japan. And so the quality of what we get here is really quite exceptional.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I wish, I wish you every success in the Cape Winelands, and maybe so successful it infects the rest of the Western Cape.
I hope so.
Yeah, I feel like taking my little 8-year-old and moving to Cape Winelands now so she can do Aikido.
Yeah. And especially for the little girls, actually, as well.
Especially for the little girls and boys. Well, what do you need? What do you need to get this program off the ground?
I think we're working on exposure, so this is a great start for us. Our dojo premises we are renting, and we could do with some mats and things like that, equipment. But in the meantime, we'll go on and see what we can do. So for example, especially perhaps mobile mats, because when we go to the schools, they don't have the equipment. So it would be nice to be able to just have a little trailer and throw some mats in, because the mats are quite important because there is rolling involved.
What do the mats cost?
I actually don't know.
If you look at
the mobile mats.
Yes, they are around 1,500 each. So that is a little bit expensive.
Yeah, and I guess they've got to be durable as well
very
for
much
the
so.
impact that they would take. Well, Haron, thank you for what you do in the Cape Winelands in all the different codes. I'm sure there'll be more WhatsApp groups on your phone the next time I see you. And Karen, thank you for the time you spent in Japan to edify yourself, and thank you especially more for coming back and giving back to your community. Okay, I hope you return with some great news about your programs.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you
very much.
Great. After the break, we'll be back with some other exciting sports and also that Bashes competition.